Hello, Markium, markiumpro.com. So basically just want to give you an update. We just heard some news that the Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca has essentially parted company with immediate effect ahead of the match against Man City on Sunday. So this is basically coming off the previous game that took place, which they drew against Bournemouth. It was 2-2 in the end. But essentially what's been happening is over the last few months, there's been a lot of tension between Maresca and also the owners. So one of the co-owners is a gentleman called Behadet. And basically they actually acquired the company. They acquired Chelsea back in 2022. They completed a $4.25 billion takeover. So this was Todd Bowley and the private equity firm Clear Lake Capital. And then it gives you a breakdown, the co-owners of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So Clear Lake Capital, who's basically a private equity firm co-founded by Bidad Igalbali and Jose Falancino, Mark Walter and Hans-Jörg Wyss. So basically this was a completion. And what's essentially happened is that right now they're sitting where they're sitting in the league at the moment. Let's just take a look. They are currently, let's just look at the table. So they are basically in fifth place. They've invested a lot of money over the last two transfers, more than $1 billion essentially. And what tends to happen is their focus is on buying players below like 25 years old, so they have a sell-on value. So what's happened is that Enzo's taken as the manager, and his focus is obviously to win the league or to get trophies, yes? But then there's a clash between the ownership, whose main focus is on trying to generate return on investment, revenues, and a sell-on. And we saw this at a recent interview that took place between some of the owners and some other partners involved in sports franchise. And he basically says, Brighton is a well-run club, a club in the mid-table with proper club and huge profit. This is the model we want to bring to Chelsea as well. Signing the best young players and offering them substantial contracts will help us achieve significant player resale value. So there's nothing within this statement from the partner who essentially acquired Chelsea. Nothing in the statement that we want to win honours. We want to become the best club in the Premiership. We want to contest for Champions League to become the best in Europe. Nothing of that. It's all about young players offering substantial contracts and help to achieve significant player resale value. So this is where everything's come to head. And then obviously we heard the news. And then if you add that to it, which is quite interesting, Enzo Maresca came out and he was obviously unhappy about the hierarchy. He mentioned a few weeks ago that there's been some contention. He's not on good terms. But then if you go back, literally back in October 2025, Enzo essentially he changed his agent. So previously he was with Wasserman Agency and he moved to Guest Tufti, and basically the head super agent of Jorge Mendes, who's been within football, managed or agent for some high profile individuals, and he became his agent. So this was quite an interesting move that he took place. And then fast forward a few months, he's left his position at Chelsea. So now if we then take a look at where we are today, because obviously we want to take a look from a prediction market perspective to see what's going on. When you pull up the site, so Markium, our site, so we want to see what's happening now. So if we pull up with Chelsea have a game they're playing Man City on the 4th. Yes. So Man City on the 4th. So that's basically the weekend coming up. And the current odds now is about 21%. So the question is is this going to motivate or not in terms of the team? Yes, because obviously now this has been a total shock. There's been some, obviously, contention that this may happen, but now the players in a situation where there's been a lot of games due to Christmas period. There's 21% chance that they'll beat Man City. Man City are flying at the moment. They're second in the league. They have a game in hand of Arsenal. If they win, they'll be 2 points behind. So then you have to say, okay, what's going to happen here? We have some position holders that are this Prevent Carlos. He has 6,793 shares basically buying here. Let's just see. He has 100,000 position. I'm going to add all of this also in the... I'm going to add this in Twitter so that you can be able to just be aware of what's happening. So this is actually probably had an impact whereby you then have to say to yourself, okay, what's the chances of Chelsea actually winning the Premier League now based on this, right? So if we see Premier League, English Premier League winners. So the English Premier League winners right now, we have Chelsea's chances are pretty slim, to be honest. Arsenal's has a 56% chance, Man City 35% chance, Liverpool have a 2% chance, and it goes down. So Chelsea's chances are less than zero. So it's slim. It's basically like highly unlikely that they're going to win. So even on a no doesn't really make sense. So anyway, this is where we are. If you want to basically play around, we've obviously got the features. You can be able to add features. So this is the type of analysis that you should really do. Understand the background of the current news and then base this news on which markets are applicable to this specific news. In this case, Chelsea. Do they have a chance of winning the league? Is there opportunity that I can buy based on this news or not? Or will they add a top manager possibly, or will they change their strategy? Highly unlikely. They really focuses on resale, so it minimizes the chances personally that Chelsea's going to win the league, that Chelsea's going to be hunting for trophies. So these are things that you need to take into consideration. Thank you.